So this is Baruch, and you got a little picture of kind of the music that I grew up with. If you don't recognize that music, then you didn't live through the 50s. That's how far back I go. That was really my era, I guess, when I had some consciousness of what was going on. That's a piece, a guitar piece called "Walk Don't Run," and it runs my blood in my blood as well. So what we need to do is in order for us to understand the Vegas Hashem. And this is all like, really got in the morning shir, the morning Zohar today. And then after the morning Zohar, then we came over to the meditation with Rabbi Mimran. So we understand what the davening and all the things that were involved in our meditations. Now, in our schedules and the way that we live, we rush in, we rush out, and we really fulfill the mitzvahs, which is very important. Because without the mitzvahs, then there's not a possibility of us reaching, let's say, a greater kavanah. Let me bring this down a little bit so maybe we can see it better. So, comes out from this is that we need to know where we stand when we come to say the Kriat Shema. It's not just enough to say it and be devoted to it and wanted to say it the right way and, get all the points in to just say it. It's the kavanah that's behind it. Where are you standing in this revolving and constantly changing world? In this moment in time, where are you standing? It's very difficult to be able to put this together in sequence, whether you're doing it fast or you're doing it much slower. To be able to concentrate on where you are in the world. So what we're saying over here in the Kriat Shema, this is why it's so important, is that every time you say Kriat Shema, it has a different effect on the world. Now he started off talking about the Kriat Shema on the Mita, and he said that the lavush of the tipa of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu is clothed in successively, starting with Kriat Shema Olamita, the most successively higher and higher levels of transparency, which means that the level of consciousness that they deliver is much higher. So they're coming over here, and that we're talking over here about different places where we stand while we come to say the Kriat Shema. What are we able to actually accomplish? And this is the word Kabbalah. And we saw in Rabbi Memran this morning that it has a great deal to do with the Vegas. So that is actually becoming one with the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. This is our goal. This goal will bring you to answers to your questions. This goal will conquer your fears. Let's see what we're talking about. So we'll read a little bit of the words of the Rav. This is very short right here, this little piece. And it says, now here we're talking about the different times that we say Kriat Shema. Hu shava el Kriat Shema the Aravit. And then this is a different Kriat Shema. This is a Kriat Shema by Karbanot. So remember, you have a Kriat Shema by Karbanot. That's really the second most highest because it takes place in the daytime. Then we have a Kriat Shema that also has to do with, of course, of Shachris, which we call the Kriat. The Rav calls it the Kriat Shema of Yotzer. And this, of course, a much higher level. There's a tremendous mochin coming in with a very, very high level of lavush. And so therefore this becomes ultimately delivered to us. So let's see what the Tiva Gavono says in regards to this statement. If I could get it a little bit lower, maybe see a little bit better. It says like this. He says, Hadam Shava Kriat Shema the Karbanos. The Kriat Shema of the Defeatas Arabis. They're really pretty much the same. Kevin Sheyesh to call Echad Ma'alev Kisarim, because each one of them has a specific quality that is very high value and one that qualities that are low. But in any case, even though that each one of them has good points and bad points, let's say, are there missing? What it really means to say is that it has a special effect on bringing down Shefa from up above, particularly on the lavush of the Shefa. But at the same time, it also is missing something. It's not 100% complete. He said, but in any case, the Kriat Shema, of Karbanos is Yoser, is Karbanos in a higher level. The Kriat Shema shall feel the Sarabis, the Kriat Shema that you say at night. Now let's go to the next piece and let's see what how he reads this. He looks like he puts the whole thing together. So let's read the whole thing and see if we can understand. So we're on this word right here. It says v'ha'inyanhu ki lefi shehu ba achar alayla, that since the Karbanos come, that is the Kriat Shema at that time, comes after the night is over. Shul neshara bo rak penimin dekatnos de'ima bilvat. At the nighttime, all that was left to be able to draw down Mochim. Remember that whatever is in of Katnis is inside of their Anpen at that time. That's the level from that. That is the sign, the significance of where you're going to be able to pull down this Shefa, this Labush, how pure it will be. Well, at nighttime, the Kriya Shema Lamita, it's the lowest possible time. So he said, but also at nighttime, I guess we're not talking about Kriya Shema Lamita, we're talking about Kriya Shema of Arvis. Panimi the Katnas the Ima Bilbao. The Chain Sark Sheba Milas Yisrael. So therefore, and we had said the magic word is the word Yisrael. Nimshak lo Madrega Cheres. A different level comes in now. Mekifim of who Mekifim the Katnas the Ima, which are all of the Mekifim of the Katnas of Ima. Now, the magic words that we had said before, the symbols that we said before, for those, we understand this is a little bit more difficult. So if you're practicing meditation, then these are kinds of things that you need to know. And we understand a lot of people just going to skip right past this, not going to be able to see it, but I can't. So let's see what let's go a little bit more. Bechinazuhu pachos min Kriya Shema to Arabis, and it's on this aspect, the Karbanos, the Kriya Shema to Karbanos is less than the Kriya Shema to Arabis. Because and then at night in Gebar Kol Yibachim Mekifim the Ima Memela Bilti Masein. Because at that time the Mekifim of Ima are already in Zeranpin, and we don't have to do anything to make that happen. But turning it around the other way, daytime is much higher level than nighttime. Because as you start to stretch out the Kriya Shema of Arvis, in Kriya Shema the Karbanos, and I translate that wrong, let me see it again. If you compare the value of the Kriya Shema the Arvis in the Kriya Shema the Karbanos, Vadash Kriya Shema the Karbanos who Yosef Ma'ulas on a much higher level, but Pas Atzmo among just by itself. The Kriya Shema is Kriya Shema the Arvis, because the great quality of Kriya Shema the Arvis, really doesn't depend on him. It's really a leftover, like a Rishimo. That's what it sounds like to me. But really because of what came before it. So it doesn't really, there's not special mala about Arvis. As a matter of fact, Arvis is like a leftover prayer. Shehi Bechinas Yom, which was daytime. Daytime has ma'alo because it's day. But that is Malchus, excuse me, not Malchus. Arvis, the Kriya Shema of Arvis, is only considered to be a more coarse madrig. The Yos Midas Lila, because it comes from the time of nighttime. Now we'll continue on with this idea, and now we're going to read the Tivah. The Kriya Shema shel Karbanos ne'emeres b'yom. So let's understand that it's said in the daytime. But it immediately follows the lowest power of the Kriya Shema, which is the Kriya Shema Shalamita. Those two are more or less joined together at the same time, or one after the other. That's right. And since therefore nighttime is the time of din, so therefore all of the malchim leave so that they should not become corrupted. So therefore by zer anpin, all that remains is the very basic, most fundamental malchim that he needs in order to stay alive. Remember, we have this concept of tzelem. We've talked about it many times. For those of you who are zelcha to be able to listen to a shir like this, you hear that. But there are dregas which are much more important than that. And they all leave zeranpin. The godless, the abba, the ima, the gamri. So the mochen of godless are completely gone from Zeranka. The Gam Nistalkul at Tzadik and the Lamed Mem Dekatas to Abba, and then everything from Abba left as well. And also not only that, but the Lamed Mem Dekatas to Im. Vim came Im Nam Shecha B'Chinas Yisrael. So now, when you say the magic word Yisrael in your prayer, that word Yisrael, as you're starting to pull that down, Rak Madrega Acha Shal Katnis, it's only able to bring down that word, the smallest possible Madrega of Katnis. Then this is the rule that every time you say the word Kriya Shema, which is, the word Yisrael in the Kriya Shema, this brings down Mochin to God to Katnis. Madrega Achaz Shel Katnis, and it brings only at that time one Madrega of Katnis. That is when you say the word Yisrael, Rak halamed med the Katnis the Ima, only the lamed med the Katnis of Ima, and not the Tzalim of Abba at all. Talk about Katnis. Yihi Kriya Shema, the Karbanot Yoser Cholosh, so therefore that Kriya Shema is going to be weaker than Kriya Shema the Aravit. That because at that time at Ma'arvis there was still leftover mochim for the daytime. And what is that called? Hatzadik and Lamed Mem de Imach b'Shleimot Bilti Masena, without doing anything, it's still there. Now you say the word Yisrael, Hamshachno Bezah, but Tzadik the Katis the Abba, you bring in the Tzadik the Katis the Abba. After the Yoshach Kriya Shemacham She'oim the Arabis. Let's read again. And how is it that since the Kriya Shema that you say at Arabis is really the time of nighttime, which is the time of din, Rak Yesh Lo Ma'ala, so therefore that's that time. Rak Yesh Lo Ma'ala, Kriya Shema Yom, but it has a special quality. Because during the Kriya Shema of Yotzer, which is in the morning, which is the Kriya Shema Shabbos, tremendous abundance of mochim come in. So he says, Rak yesh lo ma'ala shehi achal Kriya Shema diyom. He bon the koach ha'arash al yom, and it comes because of the power of the radiance of the day. But it itself is on a very low level. Because now it's coming and being said at nighttime, time of din. So therefore, since it's taking place, that Kriya Shema, now you're saying Kriya Shema at Aravit. Kriya Shema the Aravit is in the time of din. So therefore, by itself, it doesn't have any special qualities. It's not radiating. In fact, it's absorbing and going the other way. So therefore, you see by itself, because of the nighttime, it's really less. About Kriya Shema Shel Karbanot, but the one you say by Karbanot, that one is said by daytime. It's a time of Rachmanis and mercy. And so he said, and all that is left is Rab Mitzad Masha Koda Malacha because of what it had before it, which was before the night. So here's we have the same principle operating in reverse. That since Kriya Shema you're at Kriya Shema in the nighttime, and the Kriya Shema of nighttime has leftover mochim, which it is not able to generate itself, that came as a result of the Kriya Shema B'Yotzer. And as a result of that, it has a certain amount of light within it automatically. But it itself cannot generate much because it's nighttime. It's a time of din. You don't want it to generate. Now, the opposite is true of the Kriya Shema of Karbanos. Kriya Shema of Karbanos has within it a shtickle of the nighttime that is the din of the nighttime because it is immediately next to the nighttime. But by the same token, it's day. And as a result of that, it's on a higher level. Let's finish up now. So therefore, it's at a much higher level. because the main thing about Karbanos is that it has an importance by itself, which is daytime. Because it's thrown in, what it's lacking, is because of others. That is a Kriya Shema that's next to the Lo Mitzida. So he said that it doesn't come from itself. In other words, it comes because it's connected to Lila. First, it was connected to Lila. Now it's day. But that Hisarim is the Lila part. Masha Ain came to Kriya Shema Shal Arvis. Shabitzida, he grew that by itself is really on a low level. Vola Ma'ala, he low Mitzida. So it's good. It doesn't have any Ma'ala. Rapitzat Koyach Achirim, not by itself, only from the power of others. This is Baruch Fleischman. We are here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and let's go out with a little bit of continuation of Walk Over.